The fiscal cliff is adding a new wrinkle, though, this year. Rebecca Jarvis is here to help us sort it all out. Rebecca, good morning.
Hello, Gail.
It just seems like yesterday we were saying Happy New Year, and now here we are, this close to December 31st. Let's start with the fiscal cliff looming.
Yes.
What effect do you think it will have on returns?
So most of what the fiscal cliff is going to impact is taxes starting next year in 2013 and beyond, but there are portions of it that could impact taxpayers this year. About 30 million taxpayers could see their taxes increase this year. 100 million of them, according to the IRS, could see their refunds delayed. And this is because of something known as the alternative minimum tax. That's the AMT. Usually they increase that amount. They adjust it for inflation, but they haven't done it yet. It's all wrapped up in this fiscal cliff debate. And so if you're somebody making a household, making $45,000, you could actually see your taxes go up as much as $4,000 this year if they don't address the issue.
I was just going to ask you, and who would that be affected? And you just said it.
People.
Yeah, people. All sorts of people. Number of tax credits are expiring this year?
Yes, and one in particular is an important one, the American Opportunity Tax Credit. This is a credit for people who have taken on tuition, and it will help reimburse, or rather refund, about $1,000. For most taxpayers, it's a $2,500 tuition credit. If you're making $80,000 or less as an individual, $160,000 or less as a household, you can claim this, and you want to do it this year because this is the last year. It expires after this year.
And the mortgage interest deduction, I used to always be very grateful for that one. What should we know about that one?
And this is one of those sacred cows, but all of a sudden in the fiscal cliff debate, it's on the table. Now, most taxpayers who make less than $250,000 a year are not going to see a major impact, given what we've heard, at least as far as now, on the fiscal cliff. But it's really a great tax break to take. It's important to take it because it's one of the biggest deductions you can get. And frankly, if you mail in that January payment before December 31st, you can take that as part of your mortgage interest deduction. So mail in the checks early.
I like that. Well, the fact that we're having this conversation means a lot of people haven't done the right thing and done it early. We always wait.
I'm a procrastinator.
No, me too. Hello, my name is Gail. What about charitable contributions and the best way of documenting those?
So again, you want to mail it in before December 31st. You want to make sure that the organization you mail, if it's cash, you want to make sure the organization that you mail it into sends you back a note saying you did this. Also, volunteer work. If you actually spend your time, you can take the deduction, and if you're using TurboTax software or TaxAct software, they can tell you how to document that.
Volunteer work counts as a deduction.
Volunteer work counts as a deduction. So does, for example, giving your belongings. But you have to, again, make sure that you have a list of all of the things, document them each by price. And if you have receipts, the original receipts, if you're going to give, for example, a piece of an article of clothing, if you have the original receipt, that's going to help you a lot with documenting it. And you want to talk either to your accountant or use your tax software to determine what the value is.
And the last day that we can mail in the checks to get a write-off?
December 31st. You got to do it by December 31st.
And what about the flex spending account?
Yes, so most people...
I'm always confused by that.
It's very confusing, and a lot of people are confused by it because every employer has a different model. And you have to talk to your employer. This is the time of year to determine if you set aside money at the beginning of 2012 to pay for qualified medical purchases. You have to talk to your employer and say, can I spend it before December 31st? You either use it or lose it.
So human resources, here we come.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you,
They're inundated this time of year.
I bet they are. Thanks.